On this week's show, I talk about the only good Transformers film I've seen since 2007, Bumblebee. I talk about the Neflix special, Bandersnatch. Sounds a little rude.
See, I told you, he just likes to fucking talk. I told you in last week's thing. And I talk about Lemmings. They finally brought out a Lemmings game. It's awesome, except for one thing. Fucking free to play. And
we worry about Doctor Who.
Like we've done every other week. In fact,
we worry about Doctor Who. I'm starting now to worry about Captain Marvel.
I'm worried about geekdom in general. Anyway, stay tuned.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, Transformers, people who are unsure of what reality is, something mysterious, people who like throw themselves off of cliffs, and fans of Chris Chibnall, be it rare ones. Welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast, and it's the last one of this year, if we get it out on time, unlike the Christmas one, which we fucked up on because Virgin Media router exploded.
Yes. So
I had no internet, and I should have, this week previous should have been an indicator that it was going. But hey, it's the podcast, and a man who I could describe as a pink blonde with a mustache and a goatee, It's Keith. So hello, Keith.
Hello.
Captain Birdseye's not currently with us because he can't tell the difference between days. He phoned me up and he was very candid with me, and he turns around and goes, "Got my days fucked up." Goes, "Will you be back?" "Yeah, I'll be back today. I thought I'd be back yesterday, and I fucked up." And I was like, "All right, fair enough. You screwed up." But he's in Paris at the moment, enjoying the Parisian hospitality, which I think is the worst in the world as a country. Rest of France seems all right, but something about Paris grates me. Because Chelsea's all right.
Yeah, the Parisians are like French plus 100%. Extra added Frenchness.
Yeah.
They're like French, but on speed. With more speed.
I've also been told by people who work at my company that Lille is quite bad too.
Never been to Lille.
Yeah, these were Germans and Finnish people telling me that Lille was quite bad, and if Germans are telling you it's quite bad, it's quite bad. And Finnish people have got like this weird kind of rock hard mentality where nothing seems to faze them too much unless you're Russian. Seriously, but if they were sitting there going, "Oh, the French were rude to us in Lille," that's something. You've really pushed some buttons there. Anyway, let's do the rundown. We'll be talking about Bumblebee, Bandersnatch, Lemmings, and what the fuck's going to happen with Doctor Who on New Year's Day. Yeah, I'm very worried about that when we get to it. So, Bumblebee. I watched Bumblebee the other day.
Congratulations.
Guess what? I really enjoyed it.
It doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck. It's the Transformers films are renowned for being what I refer to as a clusterfuck. Yeah? When an action scene takes place, you have no idea what the fuck is going on. Yeah? It's just explosions everywhere.
The first one was passable. Passable.
The first one was passable. Yeah, it was passable.
And then Michael Bay just got away with himself, and then it just... They progressively got more shit and made less sense until the final one, which was just what? I mean, my wife, who usually loves movies like that, went to that one, and she just came out, and in her most Thai accent, she went, "Darling, movie was shit."
Well, good. It was, but this one isn't, and the reason is instead of focusing on a whole range of bloody Transformers, both Decepticons and Autobots, you have Bumblebee and two bad guys. And that's it for Transformers. You have a total of 3 fucking Transformers in the entire film. It centres around a girl. I can't remember her bloody name. She's terrible. Should have prepared beforehand. Bad.
But her real name's Hayley something, I think, and she's quite good.
She comes across as a bit brattish, and even she kind of acknowledges that. So she's got what it is her the relationship that starts off with her, and the backstory is that she's trying to fix up a car that her and her dad were working on. Her dad just dropped dead from a heart attack when she was about 16, and she hasn't really gotten over it. And in her mind, fixing this car is the one thing that will help. She believes help her get over this. Yeah, and it's coming up for her 18th birthday. And she's like, kind of, I want a car for my birthday to her mum. And the mum goes like, yeah, like we can fucking afford you a car, love. So she goes to this scrapyard, and in the scrapyard is Bumblebee for all intents and purposes. And it looks like it's a broken down Beetle because Bumblebee before then had got into a fight with Blitzkrieg, which they never showed properly, which I was a bit disappointed at. Gets into a fight with Blitzkrieg, and he rips out his voice box and drops him off the side of a cliff because he thinks he's killed him. But it's great because at the beginning you're on Cybertron, and you get to see the Transformers in their original state fighting each other. And that bit brought a fucking big old grin to my face. Yeah. So we're watching it, and then you see them escape, kind of like they do in the cartoon, but they don't escape on one big ship and then get ploughed into the side of a volcano for a couple of million years. Excuse me, got wind. Still got wind. But anyway, he gets attacked, and he gets like amnesia for all intents and purposes. Yeah, so he's transformed into a car, and he's hidden himself in this scrapyard. And she's seen the car, and she said to the guy in charge, who's her uncle, she says, "If I can get that car started, can I have it?" And he went, "Because it's your birthday, yeah. All right, I'll let you have it." And she goes, "All right." And then she drives it off, and her uncle's quite a nice guy. He goes, "Look, she's smiling. She hasn't smiled in a while," which was like a nice little thing. And these little kind of touches. I always like these little kind of touches that they put in films to bring out character traits and stuff to make you feel towards them. Anyway, she gets the car home and everything, and she starts working on it to try and get it all up and running. And a robotic arm drops out the side of it. She's like, "What the fuck's that?" So she then rolls under it to see what the fuck's going on, and she sees his face like doing the advert. And then the robot gets up and then hides in the corner, just like doing the advert and everything. And then she kind of coaxes him round, and she asks him, and he's like, "I haven't got a fucking clue." And he's just going, "I haven't got a clue what's going on." Yeah. And it's great because there's a bit where Mum opens the door and he transforms back into the Beetle. So it's like, she opens the door, "What are you doing?" "Nothing." "There's a Beetle there." "Oh, okay, fair enough." Where the fuck did you get that car from?" It's like, "Mum, it was Uncle So-and-so." Closes the door. Anyway, 2 Decepticons get sent to Earth to try and track down rogue Autobots, and they land, and they instantly find Section 7. Is it from the thingy with? I can't remember his fucking name. He's a funny actor, but it was always a bit wasted in the Transformers film. Anyway, they pretend with Section 7, and Section 7 is run by John Cena. And the reason that John Cena's running it is the fact that he was doing a training exercise with some guys in the woods when Bumblebee gets attacked by Blitzkrieg right at the beginning. And so now he's kind of obsessed with the whole alien things. He believes in they're a menace and that. So they turn up, and you've got the geeky scientist who goes, "Oh, they're here to be friendly." Because they're called the fucking Decepticons. It's like, they're called the Decepticons. I don't care if you think they're the like space police for something. They're called the Decepticons. Like, and he turns around and goes, "Look," the Decepticons say, "Look, we need access to your surveillance satellite network, yeah? We can hook ourselves into it, and we can scan the planet and look for certain heat signatures and find this missing Autobot that's a terrorist for all intents and purposes." And he's like, "Okay, all right." They're like, "Okay, we'll let you use it." So they let them use it, and the scientists like being friendly with the 2 Decepticons, and they've made a small version of the internet. They've plugged everything in, and it's like they've connected everything. And it's this horrible line in the film that made me cringe because it connected everything like in a giant World Wide Web. And I'm like, "Oh, why did you say that? That would have been on the cutting room floor if I was in charge." Yeah.
It's forgiven. There are cheesy. There's a lot of those kind of cheesy lines in Aquaman as well.
I don't know why Aquaman kind of gets away with it. Oh, I'll tell you something about the marketing for Aquaman right at the end, if I remember. But yeah, get back to it. The Decepticons then find Bumblebee, and they all fucking hell ensues. And before that happens, the girl's going around with the car and that, and she's got like horrible friends from school. And there's a bit where she's a diver. Yeah, that was her thing. She was a diver before her dad died, and the moment he died, she gave up on the whole thing. And there's a brilliant bit where they drive up to the thing and go, "Oh, look, he's got a new car, blah, blah, blah." Goes, "I wouldn't be seen dead in this car," all that kind of shit. And it feels really John Hughes, yeah? And there's even John Hughes references in it where you've got the end of the Breakfast Club and Jude Nelson, I think, who punches the air right at the end. So she gets to this cliff thing, and they're all like standing around and everything. And one guy's going, "I'm going to jump in off this cliff," and it's like that. I goes, "Oh, she's a diver," like that. And Bumblebee opens up the door and smacks her on the arse, and she turns around, she looks at the car, and it starts playing Stan Bush's "You Got the Touch" from the movie. And I looked at that and went, if they play that at the end while they're fighting, it's fucking 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I've ruined enough of the film as it is. That's just like the first bit of it. But it makes a lot more sense. It's a lot more self-contained. The actress is likeable. She doesn't have skills that fucking come from nowhere. She makes mistakes. She struggles. All those good things that you like in a character to make it interesting to watch. Definitely all there. And because there's only 3 fucking Transformers, well, there's actually the ones on Cybertron and that, but there's only really 3 Transformers in the entire story. It's not a clusterfuck. Yeah, it's not this total clusterfuck that the other Transformers films were. So it doesn't feel like there's not like a fucking action scene that goes on for an hour or so, which is just explosions. Really good. It's what I would expect a Transformers film to be before Michael Bay came along.
So on your on the the ratiometer according to Gaza, what do you give it?
Using the bell curve and remembering that 5 is completely average, which isn't bad. It's just average. Gets a 7.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
It's a 7. Considering the other Transformer films, I'd probably put in 4s and 3s.
One question for you, because Megatron is technically already on Earth. Does he turn up in this at all?
No.
Okay.
Just the 3 Transformers. It's kept very self-contained, and I appreciate that.
But Optimus Prime is in it at some point.
Right at the end. Right at the end. Him and Bumblebee meet up right at the end.
Fair enough.
Literally the last scene.
I've seen that in a trailer. There's like a hologram of him, but he looks like the cartoon
Gen
Optimus.
1. Yeah, he meets him and he's the Gen 1 thing. It's great because you see him driving along the bridge. At the end, you see Bumblebee's transformed himself into the Camaro from the first Transformers film. And as he's driving along, his truck pulls up alongside him and it's fucking clearly Optimus Prime. And then it cuts to them walking in the woods.
Epic. So this really clearly almost sounds like a bit of a reboot.
I wouldn't say it's a reboot because it does play into a lot of stuff that exists in the Transformers universe that's already there. Like
soft
the voice
reboot,
thing.
Maybe.
Well, maybe soft reboot. But it's annoying because Bumblebee had a voice for the first part of the film and he sounded epic and it was like, I could just... If he loses his voice at the end, that would be fine. But yeah, it's that. And John Cena, because he's a wrestler. And there's only a couple of wrestlers that have made it. And it's like The Rock and Rowdy Roddy Piper, who only did one film, which was fucking epic, which was They Live, with that fucking fight in the alley with Keith David, which he's the guy who does the voice of the Arbiter in Halo, is in The Thing, loads of films. But yeah, he pulled it off because he wasn't shit, which I was expecting. That's an awful thing to say. The guy's a performer, yeah? There's no doubt. But whatever you think about wrestling, he's a performer, yeah? He has to go out in front of fucking thousands of people, put on a good show and entertain them. So he's a performer. So acting should go in there. Like sometimes you get musicians who can translate into actors, and sometimes you get musicians that can't. But yeah, and same comedians too, where they can
But he's kind of a likable chap. In a funny sort of way.
I've not seen much of John Cena. All I know about John Cena is his intro music, where people use it on YouTube videos as like a Sting joke sort of thing. So I'm not familiar with John Cena.
I've seen a couple of his YouTube videos and a few other things, but he seems reasonably likable.
Actually, saying that, I did see him because he's Fred's imaginary dad, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the only time I've seen him outside wrestling.
Talking, we mentioned Aquaman before. I've got a fact for you, which I found out this week. You know, Godzilla's underwater female cousin. Do you know who the voice is?
Godzilla's underwater female.
You know the thing that's protecting the sword in the stone, or in this case the scepter, the big fuck off.
Yeah, okay.
Kraken monster. Do you know who the voice is of that? And this is confirmed. It's in the credits. It's Julie Andrews. It's Julie bloody Mary Poppins Andrews. It's Julie Andrews. Random as fuck, but it is.
Isn't Aquaman the biggest DC film from the EU? That is.
In China, it is, and I think because it's done ridiculous money before it even opened in the States. So it beat Wonder Woman abroad in the first. It's done ridiculous money, and it's really, really successful in China.
It's because I think that every so often we want fast food films, if that makes sense. Every so often we do want a fast food film. I know from a critic's perspective, eating fucking hamburgers all the time is boring as fuck. But every so often you do want a fucking hamburger. That's how I see that film, and it was a good hamburger. Fucking really enjoyable.
It's a good film. It's it's worth watching. It is definitely worth watching. I like it.
Oh, right. Hang on a second. Let me tell you about the Aquaman thing. Aquaman marketing, really fucking clever. All right. The reason that they I think they pulled in as much money as they did is they were very clever because we talk about fucking diversity and all that shit, yeah. And catering to certain audiences, yeah. Aquaman catered to a certain audience, and that audience were mothers. All right. They did this two ways, yeah. One was Jason Momoa never has a shirt on. Right?
That's true.
So they've got something they can go, he's rather nice. Hey kiddies, do you want to go and see Aquaman? That was the other thing. And then they put a character in for mums to associate themselves with, which was the Atlanta character, which was played by Nicole Kidman.
Yep.
Yeah? So they advertised and catered towards mums. So they got an extra slice of the fucking pie by expanding their audience ever so slightly. So the comic book geeks, they went, the comic book geeks will come if it's good. Yeah, it's a case of, build it and they will come. And then they went, well, how do we get, what else can we get there? And it's like, get the mums in there too. And they did that. And I think that was fucking a good way of looking at it, because that's correct marketing.
Yep.
I just thought it was interesting.
It is a good film. It is a good film. So tell me about this Black Mirror, because there was something released about this the other day, like a trailer, and nobody had a fucking clue what it was. And now all of a sudden it's kind of like those adventure books that you played as a kid, but on Netflix.
Okay.
And it doesn't work on some smart TVs, Apple TVs, and a few other devices like Google Chromecasts and things like that.
Okay. All right. Let me tell you, the thing was called Bandersnatch. It was based around a guy trying to build a video game in the 1980s. I didn't realise it was interactive. Yeah. So I've got it playing on my TV and I'm working on stuff and I'm like looking at it, but every so often a little decision bar pops up like you get with Telltale games. And I'm looking at it and it's like, oh, that's clever. I didn't realise I could flip it and select to select something until towards the end. But it played through a load of things, and it reminds me of a game called the Stanley Parable. Now with Bandersnatch, you go through there and it's like kind of, you see the character and he's like worried about reality and stuff. Same with the Stanley Parable. Oh yeah, hang on a second. Insert the start to the Stanley Parable here.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Yeah, so he's like kind of stuck where like kind of he doesn't know if it's real or not. And it's weird because you play through these things and it's like kind of, oh, you got to get 5 stars. And it's like, no, you don't understand how this works. You've got to get all the endings. That's how it works. There's a game on the Xbox called Late Shift, which I played recently, and I'm just trying to go through it and get the endings on it. So it's like kind of had one ending where I sided with the criminals, and another ending where I went completely against them. And Bandersnatch does a similar thing. As I said, didn't realise I could fucking pick things, because I thought it was one of those things where you post the screen and it just picks whatever's going on. So I thought it was bullshit to start with. But then I realised there's like a 9-second delay where they're like derp facing for all intents and purposes. Like it's just like like this. And a 9-second delay so the next part can buffer and go along. You can't fucking forward and rewind it. So it's like, shit, can't undo that decision because I got all the endings apart from the conspiracy ending. So I got the everything is fake ending. Yeah, where he goes through the story, he tries to build his game, he starts dropping into psychosis, and then it pops up with who am I speaking to? And you've got two choices. You can pick the little Bandersnatch logo, which the lunatic was drawing, or you can press Neflix. Yeah, so you press Neflix, it comes up, it goes, I'm controlling your actions. And it's like, because how are you controlling my actions? Because I'm doing it via Netflix. What is Netflix? It's a streaming service. Yeah, so it goes through the whole thing with Netflix and stuff like that, which is really good. And then it has the death ending, where you commit suicide, only to find everything kind of repeats. If you play the Stanley Parable, it does exactly the same thing in the Stanley Parable. There's a bit where you just have a heart attack and drop dead, and then you find that actually Stanley Parable is a bit more detailed than that, and it has a funny fucking narrator. But it kind of goes through this, and the worst thing is I think that Charlie Brooker will be applauded for creating something completely new, where he just copied the Stanley Parable and other games that are similar to it. I say the Stanley Parable because that's the one I enjoyed the most. But the idea is not to play it to get the 5 stars for the game review after the guys completed it, is to get all the endings. And I'm one ending short. I think I'm away from getting it, because I got the one where he jumps off of a building. I got the one where his mate jumps off of a building. I got the one where he gets arrested for killing his dad with an ashtray, and that was quite good because it was like there's a bit where they kind of play on the idea that the character is aware of that he's being controlled, and he knows the decision that's popped up. Kill dad, yeah? And it's like kind of, he's telling his dad to get away because I've got no choice, blah, blah, blah. Because he hasn't got no choice because someone else is taken away from him. Still falls into that fucking Charlie Brooker thinks computer characters are real shit, which drives me up the fucking wall. It really does, because they're not real, Charlie. Learn about fucking AIs, learn the difference between a narrow AI, a general AI, and a super AI. And when you get used to that, then you'll know how fucking AIs work. And then also understand how fucking consciousness works too, because it needs to be attached to a body. Fucking idiot. Anyway, it's really good. It is really good. It has a level of entertainment in there. I'm usually the last series of Black Mirror I got fucked off with, because it was literally they were repeating stuff. This is new. New apart from the computer character that thinks it's real, even though it's technically not a computer character, it's a streaming character, which I think is a little bit better. It is a rip-off of the Stanley Parable, if you play the Stanley Parable. But it was still good entertainment, and lots of people haven't had or seen that as an experience. So it's one of those ones you need to sit down with and do. But I remember the first time I did it, all that happened was I just left the TV running. Yeah, so he came in. It's like he picks fucking sugar puffs for breakfast. He agrees to work for this company. Oh, that was close there. This company, and he gets his game published by Christmas. But the problem is it doesn't do a very good job, and it only gets 1 star. And then it repeats itself. And I thought it was like a Groundhog Day, but then and then the system itself picks another choice where it says no, and it's give it a go. It's one of those things that it's worth a go. And if you've got an Xbox and you've got Game Pass, try Late Shift. It lasts for about 45 minutes, and it's a similar thing, but there's a bit more to it. The guy talks about a kind of choices and bits in it, which I kind of enjoy. So yeah. So go watch Bandersnatch. It's a recommendation. It's not a high recommendation. I'd probably give it 6 out of 10. Yeah, because that is completely coloured by my experience with other media. Yeah, but if you've had no experience with other media, you're going to love it, because it is much more interesting than your regular bit of TV. Bird Box, Keith. Bird Box. Not mystery segment last week. Bird Box.
Yes, but at the time, we did not know what you were recording, because you sent us the recording.
I text you
by the way.
before.
No, you didn't. We were most of the way through the recording by that point. So, and besides, it was nice. Okay, technically I could have inserted it in the intro, but it was just better to take the piss out of you. and you would have done the same fucking thing. So,
Yes. Hang on. Hold on, something. What's that noise? In this week's episode,
We talk about SuperBob. He's Bob, and he's super.
I talk about the first episode of the Orville Season 2.
And we shoot the shit.
About Netflix's You.
And you.
And You.
And you, and you.
Ba 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 ba. And... Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, and New Year's people alike. It's this day's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. And as always on these podcasting journeys, I've got Nigel. Say hello, Nigel.
Hello, Nigel.
And we're having to share a microphone. And it's a bit weird because we're staring into each other's eyes lovingly, like that scene in Lady and the Tramp.
Except without the spaghetti.
I'll go and get some spaghetti later. And maybe SpaghettiOs.
We're just pretending there's no spaghetti. Aren't we, big boy? It is weird because I'm looking right in his eyes.
The worst thing is I have no idea why you insisted that we do this naked.
Just because.
It's because you went to France, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. We went to the weirdest art galleries. They do this sort of thing there. You know, taking a bit of culture home and all that. You know what it's like.
Okay. Right, so we're going to be talking about the first episode of the Orville and the movie SuperBob.
SuperBob.
Okay, let's start with SuperBob, and I'll tell you about the Orville after. So you've been watching Amazon Prime quite a lot.
Yeah, so on Amazon Prime, it is available to watch for free. Usually, if you've noticed on Amazon, sometimes you see a film and you go, "Oh, I wouldn't mind watching that," and then it goes $3.99 or buy it now or something.
Do you know what the most annoying thing about that was? Is on the PlayStation app they had a function just to filter out the Amazon Prime stuff.
Yeah.
So you could lock it on that and don't worry about buying it.
I do that on the app on my phone, and so because Gareth mentioned that I was going over to France, so I downloaded SuperBob to watch on the train on the way over because we went Eurostar and Wi-Fi down there or network of any sort is sketchy when you're underneath the sea, let's say.
Yeah, so when you're a couple of miles underground, travelling quite fast.
Signal for networks is not very.
But saying that, I had internet on there.
They do basically. They use 3G or 4G networks on the train.
Yeah,
and so somehow they must sort of connect through, and
it's cabling, isn't it?
Yeah, so they've cabled it all up.
They've got a router every 50 metres.
Yeah,
as long as it's not Virgin router.
Yeah. And there are certain points along the route where there are dead zones, like you would expect anyway. So most of them in the UK.
Just talk about SuperBob rather than the quality of Wi-Fi.
So yeah,
Eurostar.
we may have digressed a little bit because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So SuperBob, it's on Amazon Prime. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you can get on there, watch it for free. That's what I was trying to get to before I digressed into some unknown depth of the sea.
Tangent world.
SuperBob. It was released in 2015. I didn't realise that. I thought it was a new thing, but it's not. It's got Catherine Tate in it.
Okay.
So I've only ever seen Catherine Tate on some comedy sketch shows and stuff, and I think she was a Doctor
Who's best companion. She was his best companion.
I've no idea, mate, because I only started watching with Matt Smith.
You need to go back and watch Catherine Tate era.
I'm not that cultured.
Not that well, kind of cultured, but
ish.
Geek culture.
Geek culture, yeah, not that geek cultured.
Because you went.
Fuck me! I went to an art place. I've forgotten the name of it in Paris.
Pompidou Centre.
See,
I fucking know. It Here's some glass building.
It's some weird building built in the 70s by the French president and said, we'll have art. And shit, I went through that place and there was, in my opinion, no fucking art in any of the exhibition. Yeah, they had Picasso, but that guy was mental. If just look at his pictures. I digress.
Anyway,
So SuperBob.
Yeah.
So it follows SuperBob. SuperBob is a postie, a postman.
Okay.
That's his day job. And as he was out delivering, something happened. The meteorite has hit Earth, and you know what it does in the atmosphere. It splits up, and it unfortunately hit SuperBob. Well, at that time he was just Bob, just Bob. Hit by the meteorite. It gave him a few powers. He's sort of like, they show it's very much a case of not showing you how he progressed into being SuperBob. It's more of a case of, this is SuperBob, this is Bob. He's been hit by a meteorite. The MOD caught wind of Bob and not took him under his wing, but sort of employed him. So he's no longer a postie. He's now under the employment of MI6 or MI5, you know. And he is basically trained by them to hone his powers of flight and strength and etc., in order to use that to help normal people like you and I, if we were to get into a spot of bother in a car crash or we're falling off a cliff or something.
Yeah.
So that's what their aim is, and so that's what he does on behalf of the MOD. He's even got, like the military do, they have their name on their chest. So that's that. So throughout this film actually follows SuperBob on his day off.
Okay.
So it all revolves around him trying his best to have a day off, and it's done in a more of the style of a documentary. So a film crew has been scheduled by the MOD to follow SuperBob to show that he's actually just a normal person and he has days off like everyone else.
Yeah.
You know? So that was the whole idea of it. And the first thing is they knock at the door. They've been talking to Catherine Tate's character, whose name I forget. She's sort of his boss, his line manager or whatever, schedules his workload. You know what they're like. Schedules his workload, tells him where he needs to be, yes sir, ma'am, whatever. Yeah. That. They disappear from her, go to his house, knock on the door, and he's there in his gym jams, goes, yeah, can I help you? He's like, we're here, we're scheduled. We're doing a documentary on you. And he's like, hold on a minute. Closes the door, opens the door again. Hi, can I help you? No, that was shit. Closes the door. Hi, I'm SuperBob. No, fuck. Slams the door again. Yeah. And they're recording this whole thing. And he's going, can we edit all this stuff out, please? I want to get the best door opening sequence sort of thing. You know? So this film doesn't take itself seriously at all. Okay. That's the whole premise of this. It's all about a bit of silliness, really. It's not serious. And he's also sitting there going, right, yeah. They're having a little talk. So what makes SuperBob tick? Blah, blah, blah. Is there a Mrs. SuperBob? And they're like, nah, not really. And his cleaner. I've seen her before. I've seen her in something else, but I can't remember what her name is. I'd have to look her up. But she talks to him like, not like they're best mates, but more like, fuck me, you're stupid. Do you know? You know? And so he walks in, he's like, he invites the camera crew in, and she's sitting there going, and as he lets them in, she comes in and goes, first thing she says to him, have you had your morning shit? And he's like, oh God. It's like, he goes, no. She goes, well, can I clean the toilet now or later? It's like, just do it now, it's fine. So it sort of sets the tone for the thing where it's not serious and it's a bit jovial and nothing really seems to really matter in that sort of sense. And they're asking him about, is he sort of seeing someone and stuff like that. He goes, well, I got my eye on someone, like we got to, and he tells the story about how they met in the library and all that sort of stuff. And they actually interview the girl. She's an American lady, and she works in the library, and she's saying, oh yeah, he liked this book. He brought it back a few days later. He really enjoyed it. And it cuts to him going, I didn't even read it. Didn't have a clue what it was about. Didn't read it. Just
Yeah.
In the end, she asked me out on a date and stuff.
Yeah.
And she cuts to her going, he's SuperBob. Why wouldn't I like him?
Okay.
Do you know? So yeah, it's all around about that. And then like it's his day off, and then he gets called in on his day off, and he's meant to have a date with the girl, and she's called him in, and he's meant to be meeting with the American ambassador to show, and the American ambassador's on UK TV saying he's a weapon of mass destruction that the UK have, and they have no control over him and stuff, and and we don't know if they can be trusted to have this destructive weapon on their hands, sort of thing. And obviously it's SuperBob, who's a person, and they're worried that he could just go off and do whatever he likes rather than just do what he's asked to do and keep him under wraps. Not under wraps, but keep him under control, make sure he doesn't do anything stupid, that sort of stuff. So it's all based around that, and he sort of goes, he goes in on his day off because he was asked to. And he was going, but it's my day off. I've got a date. It's at 1 o'clock. I can't miss the date. Sort of. And she's going, yeah, but this is important. You need to be here. And he turns up and he's talking, and he's sitting there listening, and they're coming up with all these scenarios on a fucking whiteboard as to scenarios with pictures in the background of how he's going to stand with a cape and all that sort of stuff. And he's sitting there going, this is shit. And he goes, do you know what? I'm having my date. Bye. And he fucks off. Yeah. And he goes off and he waits for his date, and she didn't turn up. Oh. But something I couldn't hear it. There was something going on the train when they explained why she was late. She was like really late, but then he arranges for her to come over later and stuff. And the American ambassador that he was meant to meet at 1 o'clock and shake his hand to prove that he's all good and all that sort of stuff, then starts getting a bit pissed that this guy didn't meet, and starts actually going all out. Yeah, they've got no control over this weapon of mass destruction, blah, 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 banging that drum. So it's all around that and how he then deals with it. And I don't want to go into too much more about this because if I do, it will spoil any sort of twist that you may or may not see. You'll probably see it coming, Gav, to be fair. Yeah. It was fairly obvious where it was leading, but he is reprimanded at one point for being on his day off, but hearing about on the news a massive incident, a car crash, loads of cars crashed into each other, mangled, all that sort of stuff, and he goes out there in his uniform like to help these people, and while he starts helping some people out and helping, he gets reprimanded for doing so because it's his day off, and because they hadn't sanctioned it, because the MOD hadn't sanctioned it, he shouldn't have been there. And that made the American guy pissed off because he said clearly he doesn't follow orders. He shouldn't have been there on his day off and shit. And I was sitting there going, he's fucking helping people out, and he wants to help people out, and he's helping out people who are clearly fucking in need of it. Because the ambulances have the fire engines haven't even turned up with their big cutters and stuff, and he's just ripped the door off and started. And he sat with a woman who's got a massive pole through her, and he's helping her like keep her calm and stuff like that. And all the while, the MOD woman's sitting there going, "What are you doing? Get out of here! You shouldn't be here!" Blah, blah. While he's the woman dies in his arms, and that really pushes SuperBob over the edge, and that's where sort of halfway through it starts going a bit funny. So that's SuperBob in a nutshell. SuperBob in a nutshell, and I quite enjoyed it. It was light It's not a heavy film. It's quite a light film,
Yeah.
quite jovial in places, and you just sort of. He's just an everyday guy. He's a postman, for fuck's sake, who just gets thrust into this this whole machine of the MOD.
Yeah.
And having to follow orders out of somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, he's been doing the job 6 years and he hasn't a day off, so he's allowed a day off, and then shit happens, you know. So I don't know. It's a shame you weren't able to watch it before.
I just it's one of those things where you have so many things to do, and then you're like, oh, I'll spend some time doing this, and then it's like, you know what happens.
Yeah.
But I did get to watch the first episode of season 2 of the Orville.
And that's good. So I just want to end this, end the SuperBob by saying, on your Bell scale rating, because we've always got to give something a rating.
It's on the bell curve.
And the bell curve, I would give it a 7, actually.
Okay.
It's better than average.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's not averages off the average. You know what people do. Like your bell curve, 5 is average.
Yeah.
People,
So-
5 is average.
so-
It's slightly better than average.
If we're-
It's not shit.
Every week we have to explain my fucking scoring system because we hand out so many sodding 7s. That's why.
Yeah, but
What did you give it again?
I gave it a 7. 7. Yeah. So it really.
It was
do you
to
know,
avoid the 7s.
Yeah, no, I was contemplating giving it an 8 because it's slightly. If you consider 5 is average, 7 is the average of the higher scale from 5 to 10. It is verging on an 8 because I quite enjoyed it and it did keep me going. It's not too long either, which is good. It's a good length, probably an hour and a half or so. So my recommendation: go see it if you've got Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Or you might have to rent it for £3 or whatever. But, go see it. Worth it. And that brings me on. But you couldn't see it because you were watching The Orville.
I was watching the Orville, and I was watching a Netflix series called You, and
You?
yeah, it's called You.
You? Me?
And another
Me?
And
Was it all
also
about
watched-
me?
And I also watched Bumblebee too. So I've been watching quite a bit. So
I want to see Bumble. I want to take the kids.
just me and Keith already spoke about it.
Okay.
It's the best Transformers film because unlike the other Transformers films,
It hasn't got Michael Bay?
but that's first thing, and it's not a clusterfuck. Yeah, you get into the action sequences in what do you call it, in the other Transformers films, and they're just a total fucking mess. You don't know who the bad guys are, or the bad guys don't really look like robots. They look like someone's just thrown some cogs at a wall or something.
I know John Cena's in it.
John Cena.
Or Cena. John Cena's in it.
He
Is he good?
He's not bad. I won't say he's good, but he definitely didn't irritate me, and he definitely didn't fuck me off. He performs, and he's like television level performance, not theatre or movie level performance. So it's a good pass in my book.
Well, he doesn't do. It's not like seasoned in this, is it? He's done a few.
Yeah.
But he's not like The Rock, who's like banging them out.
Yeah, well,
he's
The Rock's
getting
been
better and better at.
The Rock's been practicing ever since he gave up wrestling.
Yeah, and although I've read a theory about The Rock. I know I'm digressing again, but The Rock, when he's the main character, the only lead, his movie seems to not do quite as well. So when you've got him alongside main leads,
when he's part of a cast,
like in Jumanji,
he
was very good. But then Jack Black's in it, and I can't remember the other people.
Karen Gillan and Kevin Hart
as well.
No.
It sort of elevates, and there was another one as well. But there's another film coming up with him in next year, I think it is. Jungle Cruise or Jungle something. So
it's based on the ride that we went to at Disney. Remember we went on that ride with all the really, really good looking animatronics, as they had good looking animatronics on that one. It's that ride. It's based on that ride.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So Pirates of the Caribbean, which is based off of a ride. Now you're gonna have the Jungle Cruise or Jungle Cruise.
Something like that.
So I watched the Orville, the first episode, and I'll be honest with you, it wasn't very Orville-ish. It started, the premise. It's annoying because the last series was good because it was just Star Trek with comedy that didn't take itself seriously.
And it was interesting. It was actually, each episode was interesting. And you and Keith actually said to me, the Orville is better than Star Trek Discovery. I know anything is,
my
but
fucking colonoscopy is better than Star Trek Discovery, and the footage is more interesting. It's true though.
But this season, I think remind me what happened at the end of the season.
At the end of the season, they the captain and Watson almost got back together. That was the big thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember what happened in the episode now, which is really annoying.
I can't remember. It's so long ago.
It is so long ago. It was almost a year.
I can't remember.
I think it was a year actually. Okay, maybe not. But there was loads of things in there. There was so many bits in it, and it's ironic that I can't fucking remember. I will pick up on it later.
This is so long ago. I thought we were into season 3.
No,
but we're not, are we?
No. We were in season 2. We only did season 1 to see how it went. But this episode was more sitcom-like than Star Trek-like.
Less Star Trek-y.
Yeah, it was based around a funny concept. Was like Bortis, and he goes to toilet once a year.
Yeah.
And it's his time to go to the toilet. So he said, right, can you give me a lift to the Mocklin homeworld so I can perform the having a piss ceremony? And they were like, okay, fair enough. So they go to Starbase, pick someone up, and then head out to the Mocklin homeworld. And he says, look, there's a big ceremony after. It's like a birthday sort of thing. You know, we all get together, and it's bad luck not to bring a partner with you. So everyone then starts freaking out a little. So you got Laura. She's like going, shit, I can't, meet up with anyone and stuff like that, and I'm terrible with people because they always get a bit intimidated. The fact that if I roll over and I do something wrong, I might break them. Yeah. So she's got that. You've got the Doctor and her kid, who he's getting in trouble, and it's weird because it feels like a load of stuff that was left over from the first series. It feels a lot like all the B plots left over from the first series that they kind of just smashed into one episode to try and get out.
Maybe kickstart the new series.
Yeah, because it was one of them was the fact that I know that they did hold back on an episode. I don't think it was this episode, but they held back on an episode, and yeah. So Kelly is now dating some teacher, and the teacher's teaching the Doctor's kids and some little scrote that they hang around with. So that you've got Doctor. God, what was it? It's not Quinn. I want to call it Dr. Quinn. She sounds like Dr. Quinn.
I can't remember the Black Doctor.
The Black Doctor, yeah. She's got a great relationship with Isaac, the robot. Yeah, and he's he's helping out. He's teaching the kids to play piano and whatnot. So he's acting as like a surrogate dad.
Right.
So yeah, he's asked to help out because one of the kids, the oldest kid, is kind of hanging around with his bad influence, and he broke into one of the replicators and reprogrammed it to make a bottle of vodka so they could get pissed. And they get pissed, and they get discovered by the XO.
Dr. Claire Finn.
Dr. Finn, medicine woman. Sounds like Dr. Quinn, medicine woman.
There you go. You're close.
That's why it's annoying because yeah. So yeah, Dr. Finn and her kid are out of trouble, and he gets a bottle of alcohol, gets drunk with his mates in the holosuite or whatever they call it in it simulator, and the XO Kelly catches them all drunk, so she pulls them all in, and it's like kind of someone had to reprogram these things because the only ones that you're allowed to do it on are the like kind of controlled ones by us, because it's not like because you wouldn't want to give you alcohol and fucking free medication whenever you wanted. So he's like kind of got into trouble, and then they go to like a parent-teacher meeting. So her boyfriend at the time is mediating between one set of parents and another set of parents. So you got Dr. Finn, medicine woman, and this boy's parents, and Dr. Finn's like kind of saying to Isaac, she's like, the kid is a fucking liar. You know, I caught him out like that. He's clearly done this, yeah? So Isaac has a look at it. He goes, can I have a look at his classroom records? And yeah, sure. So he pulls out his classroom records. And he goes, would you say your student is an A-star student? He goes, yeah, he gets A's all the time. Yeah. Okay. And then the teacher's like, no, it doesn't get A's. He goes, okay. All right, so what report card did you have? I got A's on everything. Okay, fair enough. So here's your report card where he's getting B's and C's on everything.
Yeah. Like
a normal kid. Yeah, this is getting B's and C's on everything. So clearly he has an ability to reprogram and hack machines. So he has a capability of doing this. So let's now look at what's his mushes. He goes, because he's like a B student, odd A here and there. You could be doing better. could be doing better. Hands it over. Well, yeah, you could be doing better. Matches. So it's clearly your kid's been lying. And it's great because they come out and she runs up to him. She gives a big hug. And goes, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. I knew what was fucking right. I just needed someone to prove it." So you had that story, and then you had the story with Alara where they're trying to set her up on a date. So Bortis picks. You've seen him in the advert. He's got a big fucking Mekon head, and she tries to set him up on a date with him. Poorly. He tries really hard. It's really weird because the Bortis character looks at her and he kind of turns around and because he talks in like kind of terms which are just like kind of straight to the point, and it's like kind of, "I hear that you're having trouble mating," like that. He goes. "I also have a member of staff who has trouble mating like that." Because it's not quite trouble mating like that. He goes, if there is a problem, I can order him to mate with you like that. and it's like, no, it's weird because the character is I think the actor knows that the character is trying to be sweet, but can't pull it off because he's an alien and that's not how they work, and that's interesting. So he tries setting her up on a date with Dan with 2 N's. Oh yeah, like he's an alien with a name like Dan. So tries setting him up on a date with Dan, and Dan, they meet up and they have a meal and whatnot, and it kind of goes down a bit poorly, and Dan's like, okay, and then you've got who's the ginger one? Oh, I can't remember the fucking ginger one. So you have the ginger one.
He's the pilot, isn't he?
He's the pilot, yeah. And the ginger one's feeling a bit lonely because he's mates. Malloy, that's it. The ginger one's feeling a little lonely because he's up on the bridge and his mates down in thingy, and they've got a new dark matter cartographer, which is what a funny fucking made up name that is. That
cartographer's drawing maps.
Yeah, so about mapping dark matter. So like, but everyone gets dark matter confused because dark matter are like giant gravitational mass. It's like things called machos, which distort light but don't produce any of themselves. Anyway, he kind of goes to him and he says, "Look, I really like the dark matter cartographer. I want to ask her out." And he goes, "All right, fair enough." And he goes, "Why were you sent to me?" He goes, "Well, it said that you're the kind of woman, man." And it's like kind of, it was funny because it was like, there's like a stereotype because he's black. He's like, oh, he naturally gets on with the women. It's not that. It's the fact that he dated a woman with 2 heads, and one head wasn't aware that he did it, and it was such a fucking almighty task. That's how he's known as the woman man, because somehow he managed to pull that shit off.
How did he manage to pull?
I loved that. That was fucking a brilliant bit of subversion.
How was he dating one head?
Yeah,
and a 2-headed creature, and the other one didn't know.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me. He just somehow managed to pull it off. So he's trying to give him coaches. So he sets like a simulation up where it's like you go into the bar, you walk up to her and you ask her out on a date. So it seems very simple. And you think, oh, it's a confidence building thing, yeah? She'll just say yes regardless. So he'll feel confident, so he'll just go and do it. And it doesn't matter if he gets shot down or not. So he sets it up, goes in there, and it's like kind of starts talking to her, and he's like, well, yes. And it's like, hang on. He goes, what setting is this on? He goes, level 1. And it's like kind of set to level 8 like that. And then it changes into a completely different woman this time. And he goes up to her and he tries talking to her. And she's broken up with her boyfriend. She doesn't want to talk to anyone. And she's been hit on 3 times, this thingy. So he goes, I'm dying. That's like his thing. And he's like, okay, that was terrible. I lied to her like that. He goes, no, you were thinking on your feet. That's good. This is a simulation. It doesn't fucking matter. He goes, if that's level 8 at that fucking difficulty. He goes, what's level 9? He goes, level 9, she's married. Okay. All right. No, sorry. Level 9, she's got a boyfriend. Level 10, she's married. Oh, when she's got a gun. And he's like, oh, thanks. So he goes to do it, and he cocks it up completely. And he fucks off. And then you've got the captain, and him and Kelly are having kind of relationship because he wants to get back into a relationship with her, and she's like, we can't because of the position. You can't be kind of going out with your XO in an emergency situation. No, because you'll do stupid things. And he's like, oh, yeah, but we should. And she goes, I'm going out with someone who's the teacher from the incident with the kids. Anyway, he's like desperately trying to find out who this person is. So he books a shuttle, right? He books a shuttle and he drives by her window at the spaceship and pulls up alongside to see what the fuck's going on. It's like, who's that? Like that. Pulls up alongside, sees who it is and whatnot. And he goes, "Oh, so he's seen who it is," and then he kind of confronts her, and she confronts him because she's seen him. But it's great because she looks out the window and she sees him in the shuttle, and then he presses the cloak button so the thing fucking disappears. And the guy looks at it and goes, "What was that?" Goes, "Nothing. Don't worry. You should move to another room." So they come back and they get into like a confrontation and whatnot over the whole thing. It turns out that the guy she's going out with is actually a really good guy. Which is the worst kind of person you want your ex to go out with. Oh, I actually like him. Fuck.
Oh, I actually like this guy.
Why can't you be a cunt?
Yeah, it made me feel better.
Yeah, no, it made me feel better, but he's actually quite a nice guy. And the worst thing is that Ed goes and sees him and talks to him after he's had a fight with her over him, yeah? And he sees him, he speaks to him, and he realises that he's a nice guy. And then he gives him a load of tips to try and sort stuff out. Goes, go cook her a fucking meal by yourself and properly cook her a meal. Goes, put this tune on by Journey and she'll forgive you. Goes, trust me, it works every time. And she goes off and he goes and does that and it works. And she's like all happy with that. And he's sitting at the bar talking to the barman, drinking whiskey. And it's like kind of, well, he goes, let's fucking fuck things up. It goes, and because part of it is because he's a nice guy. You know, there's not like, if he's an arsehole, the things that you could do, yeah?
Yeah.
But he's not, and that's the worst position to be in. So he's telling the bartender all of this, yeah. And then the cartographer comes up and sits next to him.
Yeah.
And she asks for a drink, and they start talking, and that's where the episode ends.
Oh.
And as an episode, this will do. As judging it by Orville standards, that's a bad episode, yeah. Because Orville standards is usually a bit of science fiction plays out. And you got comedy that ensues alongside it, usually with the B story or some stupid gaffes that they make with the A story. Yeah, but this was more like a sitcom kind of thing.
You kind of got it there.
Yeah.
You kind of got it with the shuttle and the cloaking and the dark matter cartographer. Yeah. You kind of got it with that. It's not a huge amount considering, you know, what you usually get with the Orville, but to be honest with you, it doesn't sound that bad.
No, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. If you go back and watch the other episodes of the Orville, it wasn't the Orville. It felt like
the Orville characters doing. Yeah.
Do you know what a bottle episode is?
No.
All right. In TV shows, every so often, they run out of money. All right. So what they do is they have some excuse to confine the characters to a room. Yeah. Usually the stuck in lift trope.
Oh. Like Doctor Who's season.
Like the entire season 11.
11.
Yeah.
So I get the idea.
But saying that, there's been a couple of episodes of the bottle episode of Doctor Who called Midnight. It's one of the best fucking episodes ever. It's got Merlin in it too.
I don't think I've seen that.
You have to see that.
I think I've not seen the last 3, possibly 4 episodes of.
I'll show you after, and you can watch it because that's one of the Donna Noble things with Catherine Tate. But yeah, it was. It just wasn't. I didn't. It was funny and entertaining. Didn't fail on those things, but it wasn't. Didn't have that Star Trek-y element to it, which I really enjoyed about it from the last season. But saying that, it may have been the bottle episode from the previous season, which they then inserted. Because they said that there was a couple of episodes cut out because it was supposed to run longer, and they were supposed to have Patrick Stewart in one of those episodes, and. Yeah, so maybe that was left over from last season, and they thought, well, fuck it, let's get it over and done with.
It could be, and they just needed to kickstart the next season with, I don't know, a banker.
Yeah, just something to kind of ease you in. But it's usually in situations like this. I'm a firm believer that you take the comedy routine, and the comedy routine is the first episode should be the second best episode of the series, and then the best episode of the series should be the one at the end. But you'll get the odd fuckers like me who like that certain one there in the middle. Oh my god, that was fucking amazing. That really spoke to me. But if you took it overall, the first and the last 2 should be the best ones to bring you back for next season.
The hook.
Yeah.
You got the hook at the start to keep you watching.
Yeah.
And then you got the hook at the end.
Yes.
To if they get another season, etc.
Yeah.
Then you come back. Yeah. Well, I understand. That's how you expect it, isn't it?
Yeah. And then to talk about You quickly on Netflix, because when you start up Netflix and it has all the bloody title cards, they had one called You, and You looked like Dexter. Yeah. It looked like Dexter. You were in the mind of this guy who's a sociopath, not a psychopath.
Not right.
Yeah, so he's a sociopath, not a psychopath.
I thought you meant you were going to talk about me, and I thought, bloody hell, what have I done?
No, it's called You.
It's all what? Am I in something? Yeah.
No, it's called You, and it's done by Greg Berlanti, who does all the Arrow shit and whatnot. So he's helped put this series together and whatnot, and it's about this guy called Joe who works in a bookshop. He's very, very booky. He had a hard childhood. He was brought up by some nasty people and whatnot. That's it. Yeah, go.
Penn Badgley, Joe Goldberg.
He's really good because he comes across. He's quite, from a male perspective, it sounds really weird. He's kind of got a charisma about him, but he's also got a touch of creep about him too, which makes him fascinating to watch. Because it's like you know Dexter. He had like icicles in his fucking veins, but you see him pretend, but you could still see the icicles in his veins.
He's pretending that he's seen the human behaviours and how he thinks in this situation, this is how I should behave, so I will do that.
Yeah.
In this situation, I should show a bit of empathy.
Yeah, that's what I should be doing.
So I'll I don't know, fucking bringing donuts.
But this guy here doesn't have those problems. He has like a disrespect for people. They just seem to be objects in his way.
Yeah.
Because he's not a psychopath, he's a sociopath. Yeah. He doesn't really care for other people's feelings. Yeah. And the first episode's great because I watched the first episode and it got towards the end and I went, she has a boyfriend. This girl she's stalking has a boyfriend. And I went, if you don't fucking kill him, yeah, this isn't going nowhere. Yeah, it gets to the end, he fucking lamps him with a hammer, and I'm like, yes, it's going somewhere. It's really weird because the girl he likes is a fucking awful person. Yeah, she is an awful person, but he is also an awful person. So they might be a perfect fucking match. I have no sympathy for her. Yeah, she's.
Which one is it that he likes? Is she on there?
She's called Beck. It's Elizabeth Lale.
Ah, right. Yeah. So he likes Beck.
He likes Beck, yeah. And it's great because Beck has a friend who you can see there, which is called Peach Salinger, who is just like Joe, but she wants to manipulate Beck for her own thing. And the great thing is they clash because they're the same. Yeah. And
so Joe and Peach clash.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're the same. And it's weird because it's very kind of teeny melodrama, but it has that edge of him being the sociopath and the Peachy character being the sociopath too. He tries to murder her in an underpass, yeah, by running up behind her and smashing her head with a fucking stone, yeah. So he does that. He smashes her on the head with a stone, yeah, and runs off thinking he's killed her, yeah, because he's like, it's a chance of opportunity. Gets a call at the end of the fucking episode. Oh, what's her? She's in hospital. She was attacked, and he's like, fuck. He's like, I didn't kill her. Shit. Which is really good. And then he likes going through like social media and whatnot, and he kind of highlights the flaws in like sharing all your life and shit on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
thoroughly entertaining. It's not something I'd normally watch, but considering I don't like the characters either way, the only one I like is the Joe character because he's interesting. And I don't care because her friends are awful people, and if awful stuff happens to them, so fucking be it.
It was like that in Dexter, wasn't it? Really, you only really cared about Dexter. Deborah was.
Oh no, you cared about Angel.
Hang on, which one was Angel?
Angel's the pork pie hat wearing guy who gets in charge in the end. You know Angel? It's like little Tash dude, the big face.
Oh yeah, he was one of the detectives.
Yes.
Yeah, no. I liked Angel. I get that. Yeah, sorry.
And and Masuka, you had a fondness for in a weird way, like Licorice.
Because he was. No. I'll take that statement back. I liked Masuka. I'd forgotten about him, and I'd forgotten about Angel. Masuka was just a fucking perv.
Oh, he was just horrible.
Whenever he was on screen, I just pictured Gavin. Sorry, Gav. Hi. Yeah, I just pictured Gav. It's like, this is something Gav would say. So it is literally, it's correct. Everybody has a friend who will say an innuendo or say something. They don't mean to follow through with it, but they just want to say it.
No, Gav doesn't really follow through with things because he's never tried to Roger anyone with anything, as far as I know.
Well, yeah, like me. No, Gav, don't. No.
No, use
stop.
lube at least.
Oh, shit. Hey, it was an expression, not an instruction.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, no, I liked Masuka. He was good, and I did like Angel. Angel had his own demons and shit, but he was a nice chap, and he was always nice to anybody who was nice to Dexter. I kind of liked. I didn't really like Deborah that much. She was
Deborah.
right.
Out of all the characters, Deborah probably was the most annoying. What was the guy? The FBI agent. I want to say Bundy, but he wasn't Bundy. He sounded like Bundy.
Oh, the big guy.
No, the old fella.
Oh yeah,
the old fella who comes close.
Lundy.
Lundy. That's why I think in fucking
and
Bundy.
She dated Lundy.
Yes, because I like Lundy. Because Lundy, there was something about he
was on to.
He was on to Dexter. He predicted that Dexter was there, but he was too busy trying to get the Trinity Killer to.
He was getting Trinity Killer.
So there, he was another. They did have some good characters and stuff in it, and it's a shame that it kind of fizzled.
Finished the way it did.
Oh, dude. What they should have done is they should have had it where beginning of the series he's so close to getting caught it's ridiculous. Mid-series he's been caught. The rest of the series is on the run. Will he get away with it? Yeah. That's how you should have fucking ended it. He should have then got away with
that, and the way he got away with it was similar to how they finished the series.
Yeah.
Well, with the
logging company.
No. So him there, but he drove the boat into the sea, and there was a tornado or something in the sea.
Yeah.
And then next scene, he's out fucking chopping wood. What they should have shown is him driving towards it, and getting out into like a mini boat, like a dinghy.
Yeah, like a Zodiac sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So out of shot of everybody, sort of thing. He's gone round and he's fired the boat off, and they're all going, "Fuck, that's his boat." He's gone into the, but he's on a little dinghy and he's fucked off the other way, out of sight of everybody, and everyone thinks he's dead, and he's in the tornado dead. But then he's fucked off to a logging company. He's working there with a beard.
Yeah, and then you could have then, if you really want, you could then have another series and follow it up a couple of years later.
Yeah, something like that. But they didn't. They just showed him actually driving into it, and you're going, well, how do you get from there to there? They don't show anything. Yeah. It's too big a mystery, and they fucked it. They fucked the ending, and that pissed me off. Anyway.
Okay, so I think it's time we wrap this up because we were only supposed to do 20 minutes.
Yeah, sorry, we've been talking too much.
40 fucking minutes later. So, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you later on in the year.
Yeah, we'll catch you in the next podcast, which I'm sure is coming up soon.
Yes, and also we're going to do an end of January special. Apparently.
Okay. End of January special. Okay. Goodbye.
I didn't say anything.
Oh.
No, fuck it. Goodbye. We'll keep that. Okay. No, it's gone. Pop marker in.
Yeah.
That's
I kind of figured out that.
That must have been confusing for the listeners there. It was intentional. All right, you want to talk about lemons?
So yeah, right. Okay, when I was a kid, one of the I sort of played the Amstrad for a few, and I can't remember that many games on the Amstrad. I remember like Harry Attack and Dizzy the Egg, but the first game that I remember really getting into was Lemmings. It just the game grabbed me. I loved the puzzle element of it, the music, the whole thing. I just love Lemmings. And there was a couple of versions of it, but then it kind of died away and disappeared. When mobile gaming came out, I thought this game is just made for this platform, and it never came out. Years. I mean, it must be about 10 years. I've been thinking, where is Lemmings? It's like the one mobile game. I mean, they bought Worms out and there's been several versions of that on the phone, and I love Worms. Worms is great, but it's not the puzzle element that Lemmings was. But last week, Sony Entertainment, not with the original what's their face, because they are now Rockstar.
Yeah, that's the...
yes. They're too busy
DMA.
making. Yeah, they're too busy
They're called DMA.
making Red Redemption and stuff like that. So it's this new company. And Lemmings came out, and then I saw something that basically put lead in my heart, Gareth. It said,
Lead in your heart.
It did.
Not an icicle.
It did everything. It just made me.
If you said lead in your heart, that means you'd like be dead. Like a slither of ice in my heart.
It killed me because it said free to play. I was just like, no, and it's good, but it has this fucking system in it where you have energy. So every time you pick. Like build a bridge or dig a tunnel, that kind of thing. It uses up 1 point of energy, and you have 60 energy. And once that's out, you have to pay money to recharge, or wait the best part of a day for it to recharge on its own. And then there's all these other little sort of microtransactions in the game, and you're just like, do you know, why can't they just make a game? Charge me a tenner. Charge me 15 fucking quid. I don't care. I'll fucking pay it. And I bet you there are loads of people out there like me that remember Lemmings so fondly and would pay the same thing, that have been dying for a new version of Lemmings to come out. And fuck you, Sony, is what I'm going to say, because I hate free to play. I despise it. I think it should be banned, because I actually think it traps kids. It's immoral. It's immoral.
Right, see, my attitude when it comes to free-to-play stuff is like this, yeah? If it's competitive and you're charging for add-ons which will help you win the game, you can't call it free-to-play, you call it pay-to-win, all right? That's the first thing. The second thing is when you do release a game that's free-to-play, it needs to sit there and it needs to be highlighted, because certain aspects of games, like the Battlefield 2 problem, with the fucking loot boxes, that is immoral as far as I'm concerned, because they're using actual gambling mechanics in a game which is targeted towards kids. Now, if you made the game free to play and you made it adult only, I haven't got a fucking issue with that. Yeah, adults are allowed. Adults, Keith, adults are allowed to do what they want.
But guess how much they're charging for unlimited energy? So you get 2 hours unlimited energy, so you can play this game unlimitedly for 2 hours. $6.99. £7. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I don't agree with the model. Full stop. I despise it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. This model has made a lot of money, but has ruined mobile gaming as a viable platform for people to actually game on. Yeah, it has genuinely ruined it. It's like you heard about the Carlton dance on Fortnite. Yes, he tried to sue them. He tried. He tried,
failed, because there's a video that came out where he said he didn't own the dance, that he stole it from somebody else, and that was basically the lawyers for Fortnite came back with this video and went, "We will use this in court," and he kind of went, "Yeah."
The thing is with that is a case of, if the people that are being charged for it, I turn around and say, look, you can have the dance, but you can't charge the fucking thing for it. Yeah, that's what I would have said. I said, everyone who's had paid for that dance, they get it free, and everyone gets it free now. Because I think that's a much better way of doing it, because it does fuck them over to a degree, because they have to refund all the cash to those people who bought it, and at the same time it's also free, so everyone gets to use it, so it's fair. There's an element of greed in games and stuff which is really sickening, and I mean really sickening, which I don't like. And it's weird because I'm playing a lot of VR games at the moment. I'm playing Xbox with my mate Carl, and we've got the game. Both of us got the Game Pass, so we're literally going through all the co-op games in the library because they're fun. When you play, it's always fun playing together. So I've done the 2 Gears of War games that are on there, and was it Dead Island we're doing at the moment? And I'm playing VR games, and I bought 3. No, I didn't. I bought 3, 4, 5 VR games for 20 quid. Yeah, so they're all on special offer, and I bought them all for 20 quid, and they're relatively free from all this shit until they take off. At the moment they take off, they won't be. It's because what it is people are a little greedy in the way they do things, and Rockstar have kind of demonstrated this with the multiplayer on Red Dead Redemption 2, where they with the gold bars. Do you hear about the thing with the gold bars?
No.
If you want to buy stuff in Red Dead Redemption 2, like outfits or guns, I think it was guns was the ones that got people. You had to get gold bars, but the only way you could get gold bars was if you skinned and did animals, and the quickest way of doing this was to go fishing. Now here comes the really sick shit. Yeah, people would go fishing, and people who had decent guns like rifles and stuff would wait for them in the woods, shoot them dead as they were fishing, which is like, fuck me, that sounds really Wild West. But yeah, they made a ton of money on Grand Theft Auto. They made ridiculous money on Grand Theft Auto. I think it's in the $1 billion range for the amount of stuff they've made just from selling the game and the microtransactions with the stupid shark cards. And there's Bethesda with their behaviour, because what it is when one company sees another company making money, they start trying to copy them. So Bethesda fucked up with Fallout 76 because that's what they saw and that's how they reacted. And it's not good. I part of me, if I had the money and the time, is to develop games that people can play and sell them for $1 or €1 or £1. Yeah, yeah, and just worldwide, and that's the rule of the thing. And you get a game. It's not a long game. The game lasts you about an hour, but you can play uninterrupted and unimpeded and whatnot, and it's safe from microtransactions. And that would be the whole stick. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Maybe I should. I'm thinking about it now. It's like kind of just need to find some developers who make games.
I'm just so annoyed because I've been waiting for Lemmings for years and years, and I'm annoyed. And I'm hoping that because Sony have picked this up, they might make a console version that isn't free to play, and make like a proper version. I just do not understand why they haven't released one until now. And the fact that they've released it on mobile, it's just god awful. Free to play, and it doesn't have the charm of the original because it's lacking the music. But
the thing with Sony is that the Sony games that have come out recently have not had these microtransactions in, and I'm worried that this is Sony testing the water. Some little area, because the Japanese company, yeah, and it's a great thing I read in like business, yeah, where it's like kind of the Americans have an attitude. It's like ready, go. Yeah, and the Japanese have an attitude of ready, aim, and go. Yeah, like that. Unfortunately, they've now described the current situation and why people are so stressed is that instead of having the ready go, it's just now go. What do you mean you're not ready? I gave you plenty of time to be ready because they didn't. And this might be them testing it, because if they were to do microtransactions like everyone else, they would do them slowly. They would be very slow and very methodical about it, because they wouldn't want to piss anyone off. And I'll be honest with you, their games, considering you got like, was it Forza, where you have to buy fucking extra cars and shit on the Xbox, where you can fork out for £100 version, which will have everything in it. That shit's got to die. If it's console, if you're charging £50 up front, you've charged £50 up front. That's it. If you need to charge a little bit of extra money, then charge a little bit extra money. Put it out by £5. Just don't put any fucking transactions in it. Don't be the sneaky cunt who sits there and goes, "Oh no, we'll charge $60 and we'll have the microtransactions," like Activision and that. Because these companies now are hitting a slump, and they're hitting a slump because people are starting to rebel against this. Because Bethesda have got hit for Fallout 76. EA had fucking billion wiped off their share prices because of the failure of Battlefield. Yeah, they did 2 things wrong. Yeah, no, they did 3 things wrong, actually. They probably put microtransactions in it, don't quote me on that, alright? They played to an agenda which probably is representative of 8% of the population, and those 8% of the population don't buy video games. And then you've got the Patrick Soderland going, "Oh, if you don't like the game, don't buy it. Oh yeah, when you pick up a history book and learn." Yeah, and the worst thing is, people picked up history books and they learned that you were lying. Yeah, so you were caught out fucking 5 ways to Sunday. And I'm glad you don't work there anymore, and I hope that you don't fucking work in the gaming industry anyway, because we don't need people like you in there who are fucking imbeciles. But then again, if you learnt your lesson, you come back, with a sensible head on your shoulders, then forgiveness is something we should practice. Even if you do anger the shit out of me. Anyway, talking of things that anger the shit out of me, yeah.
Yes.
It'll be New Year's Day soon, maybe when you're listening to this, and Doctor Who in name only. That's how I'm going to refer to it now. It's Doctor Who in name only. Will have shown their New Year's special instead of the Christmas special featuring the Daleks, which may be the Daleks in name only, because there's rumours that they may have redesigned Daleks. My reckoning is that it's either going to be black with a red stripe somewhere, or pink with a shrill voice. There's a rumour going. Hang on, before we start. There's a rumour going around that the Terry Nation estate has a deal with the BBC that the Daleks have to appear once in every season of Doctor Who, no matter how small. Which kind of explains why Moffat, in certain series, just crowbarred Daleks in randomly. Randomly. So it didn't make any sense. Why have you got a Dalek in this thing? It's like thinking of the one where it starts off and he's wearing a Stetson and he's talking to the Dalek on the floor. And he goes, you look up and see the face of the devil. And then the devil asks. And it's like kind of, I think that may be the reason why that we've had things like that.
I have a feeling it'll be the Daleks, but they won't be the main bad guy. It'll be some human.
It'll be Donald Trump. It will be. They'll come up with God Emperor Trump, who's like fucking impervious to everything, who they whisked away back in time and buried in the ground in Scotland.
I have to stop reading people's comments now. I have to stop looking at articles written by this, because it's just people that are not Doctor Who fans. What they have done is there are fans of this version of Doctor Who, but they are not fans previous to that, because they clearly have no fucking idea of the history of the show. When you see all these articles, no longer is it men running around in the strong male characters running around and all this kind of crap. It's like, hang on, whoa, the fuck, whoa. Doctor Who has had a fucking history right from the fucking offset of empowering women. I mean, for fuck's sake, the first producer of Doctor Who was a woman, which was almost unheard of in the 1960s. The first episode was directed by a gay Indian guy, right? Doctor Who has always been progressive. It has never not been. It has always been progressive.
Yeah, but it's been in a sensible way.
Yes.
In a sensible way.
No, it hasn't screamed it. I'm not saying it's not progressive for progressive's sake. It was just naturally fucking progressive. And then you've got loads of strong female characters. Sarah Jane fucking Smith. I mean, by God, one of my favourite characters. Ace, who beat a Dalek with a baseball bat.
It wasn't the fact; it's the fact that she always carried explosives with her.
She was awesome.
That was the bit I loved about Ace, is that she always had fucking, they called it Nitro 9?
Yeah.
Explosives that she had with her, and it was one of those things when they revisited Sarah Jane in School Reunion, was it? In Tennant's era. I was hoping that they'd go back and see Ace and she'd become a chemistry teacher, because there was certain irony considering that she blew up a chemistry lab because she hated her chemistry teacher. I would love that.
It's a shame they never revisited Ace. Ace was great.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Sarah Jane, Martha Jones. She was quite a strong female. Donna Noble, Dr. Donna. Hello?
Yeah.
And now you've got this pale imitation of who has got no character whatsoever, female friend, because we're not allowed to call them companions anymore, because that's not politically correct. So we're calling them family or friends. Oh, fuck off, they're companions. There's nothing unpolitically correct about calling them. And I like the nephew. I can't remember his name. Ryan. I'm beginning to like him. And I really like, what's his face? He's more Doctor than the Doctor.
Yeah.
And
Especially the bit with the pickle sandwich.
I'm not allowed to criticise the Doctor because that makes me misogynistic. And I mean, I've been accused of such on Facebook. I want a strong figure. For fuck's sake, somebody said the other day, and I actually went, actually, that might work. Helen Bonham Carter could have played this card so much better. Much better.
Yeah, she could have.
And she could have been one of the best.
I'll be honest with you, she'd make a better female master. Yes,
true. Although I don't know, because
it would be a repeat of Missy.
I saw Missy the other day. I saw that episode, the Scaro episodes, and she fucking stole those episodes. She's so good.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing. That they did that. They changed the sex of the master, and it totally worked. This does not work. It's not because she's female. It's because the actress is shit, and because the writing is dull and boring, and because most of the people that wrote it have never written an episode of sci-fi, let alone fucking Doctor Who.
Do you know what? It's so funny because you've come around to my way of thinking, which I had long fucking before.
Yeah, no, but you're right. I watched some video of some guy who is a bit misogynistic, regardless of he just is. But he's right in the fact that it was the Phantom Menace effect. I wanted it to be good. I was wanting it to be good because I am a Doctor Who fan. And I want it to be good. I do not want this show to be cancelled. But they have utterly ballsed it. They fucked it up the arse with a red hot poker, and it's sticking out the other end with all its guts out. That's how bad this is. And all these people, I go on Facebook and say, oh, I love it. Love what? What do you love? Because you watch previous versions of Doctor Who, and then you watch this, and it's okay. It's got the TARDIS in it. That's about it.
The TARDIS is hardly in it. They built that set and they've used it twice.
Well, they seem to be using it a lot in the New Year's episode because all the fucking promos are them in the TARDIS.
Oh, so, that's just a scene at the beginning. That's it. That's all you see in the TARDIS.
I know. It's just the people that are now making it, the creative team behind this, do not understand Doctor Who. And
they're not correct. The problem is they're not creative. And that's the problem.
I find it offensive when they tell me, "Oh, it's just some old man running around with a young girl." Thing that's the description, and it is just not that. It is just not that. Here's the thing: since it came back, and even before, even when it, the old Doctor Who, as they refer to it, the companion characters were nearly always as strong as the Doctor, if not better than the Doctor. They were the Doctor's moral compass. They were always the better. They were always the stronger character. The Rose Tyler, Martha Jones, Donna Noble, they were strong female characters, and I loved Donna. Donna is still one of my favourite companions. She was just fucking amazing, hands down.
I loved the fact that she'd put the Doctor in his place.
Yes.
But she'd do it in a way. She'd do it in a way that he understood him. It was like the one with the episode with Peter Capaldi. Fires of Pompeii, where she just turns around and goes, "Just save someone, anyone," and which is and her delivery and everything was just great because it was at that point where it's like, yeah, please just do something.
The Rani, another hugely strong female character. I mean, Doctor Who has always been full of strong female characters. Okay, the Doctor wasn't a female. Okay, maybe it was right for the time. Pick a fucking actress that can play the Doctor.
Yeah,
there are many out there.
Just a quick one, right? I watched something where the guy says, "Look, do you think that BBC's got an agenda?" And he gave me, I think it's more than 3 examples, but I can only remember 3 off the top of my head. Yeah, he goes, right, Jonathan Ross, yeah, big paid star at the BBC, yeah. Leaves, says it's not about the money. Yeah, he used to do a film. He used to do, whatever it's 2015 or
that's been cancelled.
Yeah, hang on a second. Replaced by a woman, Claudia Winkleman. Yeah,
who was useless.
Yeah, that's the one thing they didn't like. It was like Barry Norman, who did it before, was a proper film critic. Yeah, his dad was a director, and he knew the industry, and he knew people in the industry and how things should be. Yeah, so he was, until Sky whisked him away with a load of cash, and then Jonathan Ross turned up. But the difference with Jonathan Ross was he was a big fan of films. He loved his films, yeah. He was really into his films and stuff. So you could see there was an enthusiasm there which made up for the lack of knowledge, which Barry Norman had. And then you had Claudia Winkleman, who didn't seem to like films, didn't seem to have any passion for the job, right? Okay, next one on the block, yeah, Chris Evans. Chris Evans working.
Hang on, I just want to point something out before you just carry on there. If anybody says, because you, just in case somebody's listening to this podcast, the editor-in-chief of the Empire Film Magazine is a woman. She does the Empire podcast now and again. Listen to her. She is passionate about films. Sorry, just carry on.
And she criticized. I think Empire Film. I won't say it. She did, but Empire Film magazine criticized the fact that Claudia Winkleman was taking over. Yeah. So anyway, now we've got what's he say? Chris Evans. Yeah, big radio DJ. Yeah, pulls in like 2.6 million people in the morning for breakfast news on Radio 2.
8.9.
8.9 may have been his highest, but the average. Oh, that's the other thing. I'll tell you about the fucking Doctor Who figure.
Yeah.
All right.
I know about that.
Yeah. He tried to do Top Gear. He failed. He admitted he failed. He tried to do it his way. It didn't work. He stepped down. Yeah. They replaced him with Matt LeBlanc, and now Top Gear's in that place where it needs to be killed off, I'm afraid. And he gets replaced on the breakfast show by Zoe Ball. Yeah. You're starting to see a pattern here.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Capaldi, I don't think wanted to leave the role as Doctor Who. If you've seen any of the letters that he sent out to fans of the show, and the cute little drawings that he'd do of Daleks and stuff, yeah, and the things that like the time he turned up to Doctor Who Experience, so when the school kids came out on the other side, he was waiting for them, and he did that for a couple of days on a row. Yeah, he just turned up and he was just like, hello, and they were like, oh my god. Yeah, he, I think, really loved that role.
But he was a fan.
Yeah, he was a fan.
He was a Doctor Who fan, and he was a proper fan.
And the impression that you get from Peter Capaldi is that he, before he had the role, would practice being the Doctor in front of the mirror. And that's why his monologues were so fucking good, because I think he was just practicing being the Doctor in front of the mirror. And he's like Tom Baker impression on Mummy and the Orient Express, where he's talking to himself. But instead of talking to himself using his voice and then his voice again, he did his voice and he was talking to Tom Baker, which was brilliant. Because he loved the role, and he was like, "Oh, you know what would really make this?" He goes, "I could pretend to be one of the other Doctors. I've been doing that for years."
I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast, but the Doctor is a psychopath. The Doctor is a psychopath.
The Doctor's not a psychopath.
Yes, no, I've heard this
not.
description. He is. He can switch, and he what do they call him? He's a psychopath in the respect that they compared him to Steve Jobs in some respects, but they're right in the fact that the Doctor can switch emotions. It can go from the cuddly old man to somebody that will fucking kill you if you fuck with them, and the Doctor has done that. Jodie Whittaker just does not have that in her acting repertoire. She does not have the ability to switch. And every actor that's played the Doctor, including Colin Baker, had that ability.
I felt sorry for Colin. When you hear the stories about Colin Baker, the rumour that the guy who was in charge of Doctor Who at the time, a guy called John Nathan Turner, wanted to leave to do something else. And they wouldn't let him leave to do something else. So he decided to construct a Doctor that people would force the series to be cancelled. And then the worst thing is he actually liked Colin Baker.
I mean, I tell you what, if you want to understand the character of the Doctor, it doesn't matter which actor that plays him. If you want to understand the character of the Doctor, go on the BBC iPlayer and watch Night of the Doctor. It's a 15-minute prequel to the 50th anniversary, and it's Paul McGann's Doctor. It's the only other time he's been on screen. But there, in that 15 minutes, every element of the Doctor is on show. I mean, 1 minute he's going, bring me knitting, and then the next minute he switches and he does it on a knife's edge. That is the Doctor. And that doesn't mean a woman can't play it. It doesn't mean a woman can't do it. She can.
Just a talented actress needs to play it. It's like Michelle Gomez would do the same thing. Example, there was the the episode where she's stopping all the planes. What was it, The Magician's Apprentice?
Yes.
Right at the beginning, and she's sitting there and she's being all nice, yeah, and then she starts killing people in the thingy.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh, there was a bit of baby sick on that person," and then she literally just went like that. Guys, you think I've become nice all of a sudden? Yeah, she could do it too. But I see. I always saw Doctor Who as he was more in the vein of like a superhero. He was more like a god than he would be closer to a god than he would closer to Superman than he would be Steve Jobs.
But I mean, it goes back to the fact that the people think that it's a man playing the Doctor and he's always the hero. Wrong. Again, who is the fucking hero in Bad Wolf? It's not the
Mickey,
Doctor. Mickey is an unsung hero.
He is an unsung hero. I like what they did with Mickey.
Yeah,
I like the way that he had a really good trajectory.
But it is Rose who is the hero at the end of Donna's run. It's Donna. It's Donna that saves the day. It's the Donna that bonds with the Doctor and gets rid of Davros. It's not the Doctor.
Yeah.
The Doctor is only as strong as the companions that follow him. And that has always been the case. And half the fucking time, it's the companions that save the day. Amy Pond.
Yeah. I think that it's. I think the BBC panders to special interest groups too much, rather than realizing that there is a bulk of people, because the bulk of people want a certain thing, and the special interest groups want a certain thing. And if it's like they're in single digits, yeah, and then the people who want Doctor Who are in double digits,
but
close to 50%.
I don't know why they did this. I mean, they did what Lucasfilm did, and it backfired so fucking spectacularly that they have had to reset Star Wars. Literally.
Hang on a second. And there's one TV show that you have left out, which has done exactly the same. Have to think. Coming back soon with bitch face Burnham.
Oh,
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, but you see, I know it was there in Discovery, but that was never my biggest issue with Discovery.
What the fact that they disrespected the source material.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off the
most. That's the biggest thing with Star Trek. You've got Michael Burnham, who's barely a character, yeah, against people like Saru, Tilly, and Stamets, who are characters. All right, because she wants to be a Vulcan. I don't want to sound rude. I think Vulcans are fucking boring. All right, Vulcans are boring, yeah. And I'll be honest with you, Data was quite boring, but the only nice thing about Data is Data could keep you out of a fucking bind if you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. That was a good thing about Data, but he was a machine. All right, Vulcans are boring. Okay, if she was a Klingon, she probably would have been more interesting. Mm-hmm. There would have been a lot more punches, and maybe some violent sex. It would, yeah. It's just, yeah. And then the Orville, you got the Orville where it respects the source material for something it doesn't own the rights to. Does a good job. How does that work?
It's going to get sued, but it's coming back. It's coming back soon.
Yeah, I was hoping it's coming back at the end of this year, so I've got my VPN up and ready to
No, it literally
pop
is
onto
in the
Fox.
next week or two. It's airing. It's just getting bad. It's terrible, and I have something to admit. I think you could be right about bloody Marvel as well. I hadn't seen all the interviews with Larson until this week, and I just was like, did she really just say that? I mean,
hang on a second. There are two bits, yeah. There's the political bits, and then there's her making shit up about a character. Oh, I think you could take on Thanos. He looks a bit grumpy.
Well, no, but that's just bitch talk. I mean, men have done that in the past. They're playing. No, it's the political crap where she actually ends up being racist and sexist in a quest not to be as politically correct as you can be, and in the end, you end up being racist and sexist. And the trouble is, until I'd seen that, I quite liked her. and now I can't stand her, and that's really pissed me off because I was looking forward to Captain Marvel. Now I'm thinking, oh god, it's going to be another Doctor Who. It's going to be another Doctor Who, and I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry because they're fucking with everything. Stop it.
If you, I'll send you some YouTube videos of people going through the Captain Marvel comics. Yeah. Because she's a terrible fucking character, and they've had to reboot her. There's her, there's Miss Marvel. To be honest, Venom has been rebooted a few times.
Sorry, I've just watched my fridge open because I think my sister-in-law seems to think that we're on YouTube, and I just suddenly saw the fridge door
audio
open.
only. Just tell her it's audio only, darling.
I just saw the fridge door open. There's nobody there.
It's a fucking
ghost.
ghost.
Doing it again.
What you got?
Michael A, you're not on video. Fucking scaring the shit out of me. It's like a fucking door opening. I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't want to sound rude, Keith, but that would be the worst thing for ghosts. Yeah, it's like we caught it
Stealing
on the
my
podcast where you can't fucking see it. How do we know you're not making it up? We don't. We can't.
The fucking fridge door. You can't see this, ladies and gentlemen, but I just saw the fridge door opening and almost like it was on its own. And what she's done is she sneaked along on the floor because she thinks we're on a YouTube, because I do YouTube videos as well. Check out my channel, The K-Spot. Plug.
Like the G-spot, but harder to find. That's what I should have called my channel, the G-spot.
Yes, you should have. And Nigel's going to be in the end spot. Oh dear.
Oh, that's bad. I always find that the people's reaction to words weird. It's like swearing. It's like if you understand what swearing really is, it's like shorthand exclamation points in middles of sentences. It's not as rude as you think it is. I can be ruder and meaner to you without swearing. And I mean that. And Keith's been on the end of that a couple of times without me and I didn't swear once. No. That was the worst thing. That's the worst thing. If you know you've pissed me off, I don't swear when I'm angry.
That's true.
That's my weirdest trait actually is being angry and not swearing. I seem to now break out the fucking big words, sunshine. I'll hit you over the head with them. Okay, so I think we should go home and cry about Doctor Who. And
I think we should cry that they're fucking with everything that we love, and it's getting to a point now where it's just silly. Stop fucking with Star Trek. Stop fucking with Star Wars, and fucking leave my Doctor Who alone. Seriously. Yes, cast a woman doctor, but just do a proper job of it. Seriously.
Cast an actress to do it, proper actress, sorry.
Yes. I don't have a problem with you casting a female doctor. I don't. I really don't. It's
Do you know, I've watched Sylvester McCoy read the speech from the Rings of Akhaden.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did a really good job at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that should be every doctor's audition. Can you read this? Yeah, and move me. Yeah, because if you can, that's a great job. And just to get every doctor to come in and do it, or you could do the Scale Model of War Peter Capaldi speech,
or
which is a good one,
or David Tennant's speech from Who Am I? In the Christmas episode where he's on the ship with Kylie Minogue, but when they go, "Who are you?" I am 900 and something years old. I'm a Time Lord, blah blah, and I'm going to save your life. That's a bloody good speech.
See, that's the thing about the Doctor. We always had those bits where it was like he does that, and then you go, okay, cue the music, same day. Yeah. And yeah. See, this is the thing. Did I tell you what I'd do for a version of Doctor Who if I was put in control? With the do it like at Christmas, so it become events rather than that's a Christmas, Easter, and stuff like that. Did I tell you what I'd also do with the Doctor and have him at the end of his life?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So what you do is you say that he's had like a couple of 50 regenerations between the current Doctor and now, but you put him right at the end of his life, and you start off with him being the Valeyard, and then him changing into the Last Doctor. Yeah. So Nobody trusts him because he'd been an arsehole for the last 100 years. But the worst thing is, he's used all his regeneration energy and everything, and he's suffering from like a Time Lord form of dementia, so he can't quite remember everything, so he's struggling badly. Because it would make a much more interesting character, so you'd see him as like an old man in like the winter of his life. And he could then go back and revisit certain people to try and figure out what's going on. And he'd have things like he wouldn't remember the fucking Daleks. It's like, well, of all the things you fucking forgot, you forgot about the Daleks. And he'd have a carer. And the funny thing is that his carer would be a battlefield medic. Yeah, so they'd have a gun and whatnot, but he wouldn't have a problem with the gun because he'd forgotten about guns, yeah? The whole thing with the guns. So it'd be great. But there would be a bit where one day he just kind of flips and he remembers, yeah? And he'd literally disarm someone, takes the gun apart and drops it on the floor and tells the guys don't like guns. And then look at what's his face and look at the fact that they're carrying a gun and then be a bit confused over what's happening. And I think that would be, think of it like The Dark Knight Returns. So he could finally kill off the Master, he'd finally kill off the Daleks, he'd finally finish off the Cybermen, and he'd find permanent ways of finishing them off and rewriting time and everything. And that would be quite good.
It's better than what they got now, put it that way.
I would. That's what I'd do. I'd go balls to the wall. I reckon Stephen Moffat would have done that if he'd have been let loose. Well, but he was very ambitious as a writer.
We if the rumours are true, technically it's 2 years, but we've only got one more season of this lot, and then hopefully BBC don't cancel it and do what Star Wars are doing and semi-produce something decent.
I would prefer them to cancel it and then a producer like Russell T Davies comes along and then revives it. Because he did a fucking great job of bringing it back. He really did. And I think that would spur on a few people. I know it's like but it's like watching a wounded animal. You just want to roll over. Just want to. I don't
want it to be cancelled for like however many fucking 17 whatever years it was off the air. No, because it won't come back because the BBC are just too. They need to be propelled in. You know, if they cancel it, it might never come back.
I think they should stop the license fee. I think that they should reduce the license fee down to £12 a year, and that funds the BBC World Service, Radios 1 and 2, and BBC News.
I think
nothing else.
I think it's getting to the point where I would defend the BBC until I was blue in the face. I am finding them almost indefensible now.
Yeah, they're terrible, and the only reason they can carry on because if they were a business, they'd have gone out of business. Think about it: the amount of American fans that they pissed off with this season of Doctor Who. Seriously, Moffat at the beginning of his Matt Smith thing went out of his way to bring the Americans Doctor Who,
and
because they were watching it. And that's the one thing. Yeah, that's the one thing that he bought that you can't really see was the fact that he pulled all these fucking fans in.
I saw it when I went to New York, walked into a Barnes and Noble store, and literally there was this whole fucking section Doctor Who, stuff. And I was just like, wow. I mean, I hadn't seen something like that in the UK, and there it was in the middle of New York in a Barnes and Noble, all this Doctor Who stuff, and it was just like, wow.
Do you know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is finding Doctor Who merchandise in Epcot in Disney.
That's awesome.
That's when you walk into Disney and you find fucking. The thing is, if the BBC were to be broken up, I reckon Disney would buy Doctor Who.
They try. Well, the Americans tried to do it before. I don't know.
No, the funny thing is, the story behind that is that was a kid that was brought up in England and then lived in America and then became a producer in America and was a fan of Doctor Who and went, "What do it doesn't matter? You've cancelled Doctor Who. What do Doctor Who for you?" And he was, if you listen to the guy, he was excited and he really wanted to do it. There's another thing. Have you heard of The Stranger with Colin Baker?
No.
When Doctor Who went off the air, yeah, they started producing like bootleg versions of Doctor Who called The Stranger, and they did 3 of them, and they had Sophie Aldridge in there, and who's the other one? One who plays Perry in there, and they had Colin Baker as this old man who's supposed to be the Doctor. It's terrible shit, but from that,
Big Finish.
sprouted up. Big Finish sprouted out, yeah, because Big Finish then the guy who owned that was trying to get the rights to do Doctor Who bits, and they went no. But Big Finish impressed them and they got them to do it. That's the annoying thing. Do you know what the really annoying thing is? I reckon Jodie Whittaker will stop playing the Doctor, and then 5 years on, yeah, you'll have her in some Big Finish audios, and she'll be great because they'll be able to do her justice, and because they'll be able to tell her this is what you really need to do to be the Doctor, rather than whatever direction she's getting from people. Yeah, they'll sit there and go, "This is what the Doctor's like. Here, listen to this." Yeah, that's Colin Baker, right? That's Sylvester McCoy. Yeah, that's Tom Baker. Yeah, and they'd be like, and it's like kind of Paul McGann. It's like we've been trying to get Christopher Eccleston in, but I think he did agree to do one.
Don't know yet. I think they might get him in. But
if I were running Doctor Who, they would be people I'd have on fucking speed dial. I would sit there and like Nicholas Briggs and that. It's like he'd been writing like these Big Finish things, and I'd be like, kind of, do you want to sit down and write an episode together? I'd sit there and go, right. The downside is that we will have to make changes to make sure that we can fit in with budget, but we just write something to the level that we'd want to see on TV, and then we'll just scale it back to fit on TV. And then see if he'd go for that, because I reckon he'd go for that. And that guy knows the Daleks. That guy voices the Daleks. That guy voices the fucking Cybermen. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Anyway, we will watch that New Year's special episode, and we'll probably be very down about it. But there is a gift afterwards. There is a gift. Luther is back. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I hope it's good.
I think it will. I think it will be.
If you watch it and it's gone crap, it's nothing to do with the writers. It's the BBC interfering. If you watch it and it's become a bit political and whatnot, where it wasn't before, yeah. If all of a sudden they're talking about fucking white male privilege and all that shit, it's the BBC interfering. Yeah, that'll be my proof. Yeah, because Luther doesn't need fucking political things in it. It just needs to be a really good fucking crime drama. And Luther's the reason, is my argument, why what's his mush Idris Elba can't be James Bond, and it's the way he walks in it, like he shit his pants. James Bond would never walk like he shit his pants.
There is that.
That's a fact. Same with Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy has a similar walk where he looks like he shit his pants too. That's why he can't be James Bond either. That's what disqualifies you. If I've got you doing a silly walk like that, you can't be James Bond. Henry Cavill. When he's 40, Henry Cavill is James Bond.
Oh, that could work.
Yeah,
especially after
he has to
Mission
be 40.
Impossible.
I watched Mission Impossible the other day.
It's good, isn't it? The latest one is good.
Yeah, it is good. I love the fact that they've embraced. They seem to embrace a point where it's. I say this, that the characters have to struggle to make it interesting. That's what makes things interesting, and the whole kitting up and fucking things makes everything so much more interesting. If it's like if Tom Cruise has had the shit kicked out of him, he's on the side of a cliff with Henry Cavill, yeah, you're like going, it's a good chance Henry Cavill's going to win this.
You know, I enjoyed the last Mission Impossible. I thought it was very good. I'm looking forward to the next one, actually, on that respect. Anyway, I'm now going to have to go a long, long way away to watch Bumblebee, because I missed it at our local cinema because of Christmas and everything else. And been fucking... I caught a cold in Thailand. Hey. Anyway.
I've got some socks in Thai rack.
No, I've been dreadful this week. I haven't been able to get out of bed. Anyway.
That's normal for you.
No, it's not. Not these days.
It is.
I have a wife. She gets me out of bed. If she doesn't, the bloody dog does. Anyway, so I think we should say goodbye for now.
Yes, goodbye from now. What we want to do is we want to do a special, because we were supposed to do a Christmas special, and I was hoping to do silly quiz. So we're going to try and sort out some kind of special. Maybe we'll do an end of January special. Just so we've got a point. Oh, it's the end of January. Time for a special. Yeah. And we'll do some dicking around and stuff. Yeah. I didn't get to shoot Father Christmas because there was supposed to be another part to that Father Christmas bit.
Yeah, it was quite
which
dark.
was supposed. Yeah, no, because what was supposed to happen, is you're supposed to have Dexter go, "What's that?" And then you hear like something climbing around, which it would be the noise from Aliens, where the thing's climbing around inside the vent. Yeah, and then you hear bang bang, and then you hear the sound of an alien like that, and then goes, I got him, and then Dexter goes, "That's not Father Christmas," and it would have the alien sound and everything in it. That was the idea, but I had no access to the internet, and I had to fucking just pull out whatever I had in my fucking library for audio things. Oh, and that's really an irritating thing. Before, in Final Cut, if you had an audio like sample, like a cocking of a gun or whatever, you could go into Find Out and find that, so I could drop it into Audition. It won't let you do that anymore.
Yeah, no.
Bastards.
I know.
What's wrong with that? Do you know what I had to do? I had to fucking just output the audio file with all the bits in and then cut them up and put them into Audition.
I know. It's dreadful. But anywho, right. Thanks for downloading the podcast, and thanks for listening. We will have the ginger beardy one back with us next week. He won't be in France.
Oh, hang on a second. Or will we?
Wow. Anyway, speak to you soon. Take care. Thanks for downloading. Bye-bye. Say bye, Gav. Bye-bye.
That's what I usually do. Bye.
Yeah, I stole your role. Bye-bye. Thanks for downloading the Monkey Nut Punch podcast. You can follow us on Twitter @Monkey Nut Punch. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Monkey Nut Punch.